Alright fellas, here we are back in Pokemon Masters, and yes, it is time for us to review the gods of death themselves, the Kanto Neo Champion reruns. Now, obviously I think most people are probably going to say these characters have been effectively outdone by their 5th year anniversary counterparts, but for one, doesn't matter, because they're quite different characters. For two, you can also make the argument that Leaf is still better than Lance. But either way, these characters are still stupidly strong, and easily between the first time we knew that they were coming back to whenever they leave and we get ourselves the next Datamine, probably for February, I would easily argue that these characters are the best ones to go for any new player joining the game. Whether you are joining from like right now, right, December 24th, all the way until January 25th, you will want to pick up at least one or two of these characters because they will make your life so much easier. It is absolutely insane. I've pulled up multiple charts here to back up those statements because these characters are just so stupidly good. I'm going to go over them each in a separate video. This video is going to be covering Red, Champion Red. Let's go ahead and take a look at his kit. So, Champion Red is a striker-oriented sync pair with the Tech EX roll because he's meant to be just a raw, pure damage dealer, right? I mean, fair enough. Makes sense. With 6-star EX, level 150 investment, he's got 394 special attack, 209 special defense, 209 physical defense, 206 physical defense, whatever, 811 HP, 364 speed. These stats are nothing to, like, write home about. They're fine. They're not bad at all, but they're just, you know, they're solid, they're good, but it's not like there's anything exceptional. Tech EX roll doesn't change that too much. He gains plus 20 in his defenses, 20 in the special attack. I think the HP changes a little bit. Yeah, he gets 60 up in the HP, and I think the speed just doesn't change at all. Good stats, right? I mean, the HP's good, the offenses are pretty good, and the defenses are fine, right? Like, nothing crazy, but pretty good across the board. Trust me, that ain't why he's good. He's got Blizzard here. Blizzard is a 3-gauge move, 138 power, hits all enemies. Sure, whatever, man, right? He's got this power. Protect. This applies damage guard. This is a good effect because a lot of strikers are going to be able to appreciate having some form of like immediate damage guard to be able to protect them from AoE sync moves, assuming you don't have the like sync take all effect or take all next effect or something like the new effect that Giovanni has, right, where he can take every character's attack or every enemy attack, something like that, right? Having this damage guard is really good because it means you can take a sync move from a boosted enemy, like an ultimate battle. That's a big one, right? Or a big like hyper beam or something from an attacker or something like in the legendary arenas if Red's the target. It just pretty much enables a lot of a lot of survivability for him. It's really good. It's pretty strong. This is a very, very solid effect to have, just enabling that survivability without having to like baby him, pretty much. It's good. Frozen Wings Ice Beam. This is his main form of damage, and it's got great effects. It's activated whenever there's an enemy with lower type rebuff, and deactivated when there's no longer an enemy with any type rebuff lowered. This is fine. I mean, he's going to be able to activate rebuff or be able to be with partners that have rebuff, so this is pretty much for the most part fine. The only place that this has problems with is in the legendary arena because he's only got 2 sets of it. How does he have 2 sets of it? We'll go into that in a little bit. This ignores passive skills that would reduce damage, ignores passives that would protect targets to crit, ignores endurance, and it leaves the enemy frozen. This is our first form of guaranteed freeze in the game. Released about over a year ago. It's stupid strong, man. Definitely strong. Freeze, again, it's the same thing of like Grassy Glide on Cygnus Lyra having guaranteed flinch or whatever. It's guaranteed like status change on top of being able to do damage or have other effects with that move is extremely strong. So not only is Red doing a lot of damage or damage in general, he's going to be leaving the enemy frozen, and he ignores enemy damage reduction gimmicks, which is what gives him a lot of good utility in the legendary arenas. He's able to skip a whole lot of enemy problems because of the fact that he is able to, ignore like enemy damage reduction abilities. So look at Latias here. That's a pretty big one. Though I think he does have debuffs as well, but still, being able to ignore damage, on the enemy or whatever is still great. His big damage reduction, or damage reduction ignoring abilities don't come into play too much in the legendary arenas. Well, okay, they do. Sorry, they do. Let me back up there. It really does. Ain't gonna say it doesn't. But the biggest issue is that, of course, this is only activated with type type rebuff, which he can only activate twice. That's his biggest issue, but that still does make him a great contender for duo stages. If we look at the type matchup chart here, which gives red a solid rating of 25 overall, which effectively means he's able to pair up against these stages extremely well, right? He's got himself the check mark here, green check mark without a box. Just don't fight Regirock. That's just a good idea. And here's the score guide, right? Can solo the Legendary Arena, nearly full counter, has good options, can do well, right? Red has literally all of that, except on Regirock, because Regirock is physical-oriented, whatever, right? Yeah, I mean, that's 25 score overall. I don't know, how does that pair up? I mean, like, yeah, okay. A character that can literally solo the arena, Bianca and Virizion here, at a score of 28, right? I mean, Red's barely doing worse. Barely doing worse, right? And he's meant to be a damage-dealing character, not exactly a utility... okay, well, he's a utility character as well, but we'll go into that in a bit. Okay, so we've secured why this is strong. 165 base power is also no slouch. Like, that's really strong. Guaranteed freeze. Ignoring damage reduction abilities and crit protection. That's great, right? Glory of the Winning Path. Reducing sync countdown by 1, raising special attack by 6, and special moves next by 2. Already a little bit more enhancement on the damage, maxing special attack, and sync countdown, sync utility's nice. Cool. Good self-sufficiency, right. Kanto Spirit is a master passive. The more Kanto allies on the team, the more this powers up his and allies' moves. I want to go into this a little bit more later if I remember, okay? Journey from Palette. The user's moves never miss. Increases special moves next by 1 when its attack move hits. The more the user's special moves next is increased, the more powers up its sync moves. Okay, so for one, Blizzard never misses now. Don't have to worry about accuracy. Will never be a problem. And of course, Latios's gimmick and whatnot of being able to buff its evasion, doesn't care about that. Increases user special moves next by 1 when its attack move hits. This means he is literally gaining +1 special moves next for free, right? This also counts for AoE moves. If Blizzard lands, this will give him +3 special moves next. And in turn, with those special moves next he gains, is able to increase the power of his sync move. It is 10% per special moves next he has, up to 100%, effectively being able to give him a full multiplier, right? The only problem with that is, of course, he's using his special moves next. So he's most of the time not going to be able to stack up too much special moves next, but you definitely can stack up enough to where you can get a lot of good power out of him, especially on like that first sync. If he's going to be the first character syncing, you can very easily do Blizzard into the trainer move, get +5 special moves next, and then have other characters to attack to then sync with Red at 50% multiplier because that special moves next, which can, of course, because it's not used like sync move up next after the sync move, you can use those +5 special moves next to then power up your Frozen Wings Ice Beam. If you've ever played with Champion Sharon, it's the same effect, right? Where he needs physical moves next to buff his sync move, and then he can keep those physical moves next stacked for a nuclear fly, right? That's pretty good, obviously. So +1 special moves next pretty much just for free every time he's attacking, and +3 if it's Blizzard. Yeah, that's pretty strong. That's obviously very strong. Shimmering White Snow. Lowers target ice rebuff by 1 the first time its attack move is successful each battle. Lower target ice rebuff the first time its sync move targeting the opponent is successful each battle. Can only activate once per battle. This is where the buddy move activation condition is not that bad, but also, of course, that's where, it becomes kind of painful in a legendary arena stage, right? He's able to lower it by just hitting the enemy the first time. Blizzard hits at the enemy, AoE rebuff, and then boom, you activate your Frozen Ice Beam, Frozen Wings Ice Beam, whatever. And then you can start doing amazing damage, freeze the enemy, get your special moves next buffs, yada yada, all that good stuff. Go on to go through a merry little land, okay? Then, of course, he's going to use his sync move. He's going to then, because he's a striker character, he's going to have an AoE sync move, and that's going to AoE lower enemy ice rebuff by another layer. This is effectively these Kanto characters, because they all have a similar effect, are multi-characters before it was cool, basically. So if you know the effect of Arc Suit Cynthia, Arc Suit Steven, Arc Suit Lance, these characters who can lower enemy rebuff or whatever by using, on entry and on their sync move, these Kanto characters are barely any different from that, and obviously that is going to be making them strong, because they're getting just directly free 50% power to their moves and sync moves and any ally, other ice type or fire type or electric type ally for free, right? They're just giving them free power-ups. That is what is making these characters so strong, because not only are they enhancing their own damage, but they are enhancing the damage of their team. So he's getting 2 layers of ice rebuff, and that's of course why the activation condition for this is not like horrible, because obviously you can play around with this, right? You can obviously get -1 rebuff on entry, and if an enemy even gets rid of rebuff, you can reapply on the sync move. Just that doesn't translate too well to a Legendary Arena where there are 3 bars of health. That is probably the biggest issue, but obviously, you know, you can still play around it, considering Red still is able to perform extremely well, and at the very least, he does have another form of damage in the form of Blizzard, right? So, thankfully, it's not, like, terrible. And he's got guaranteed crits on his moves and sync moves, so he does not care about having crit buffs at all. He does not mind. Guaranteed crits, of course, is unconditionally great. You know, it means you don't have to worry about failing crits on sync moves. It means you don't have to worry about buffing crit. That's nice. And that's just Red at 1 out of 5. I think Red at 1 out of 5 is still good. Obviously, I don't think Red's damage is, like, batshit insane or anything at 1 out of 5, but he still really does perform extremely well. Like, it's something you definitely shouldn't slouch on, because you got to consider, Red obviously is lowering enemy ice rebuff by 2, right, which is enhancing his own damage by 50% and allies damage. He's got a master passive, which is increasing his, at base, you know, without any extra multipliers, powering up all ally special move damage by 20%. There's an extra 20% there. He's buffing his special moves next by, you know, a range of amounts, right, between 1 and 3, every time he's attacking, off of a 165 base power move that leaves the enemy frozen. I mean, again, amazing tech, and also ignores enemy damage reduction, passives, endurance, and crit protection. So Red is still able to do some really solid damage, even just at 1 out of 5 investment, and of course that's going to be great for any newer player, right? You newer players don't care to like be clearing ultimate battles or whatever. You usually would be caring to like clear Legendary Arena stages, Champion Stadium, like random battle challenges that are available in, you know, the current event section, stuff like that. And well, Red is going to be extremely good for that because he's able to ignore a lot of enemy damage reduction gimmicks, because a lot of stages love to have acute senses or healthy advantage or stuff like that, and Red can bypass that extremely easily. Even though he already actually deactivates acute senses because of the rebuff. So he's able to, you know, kind of double dip into that there, which is funny. And of course, he's got great tech of being able to protect himself against a high-powered attack with damage guard. That's usually going to be AoE, right? And also be able to enhance ally damage with ice rebuff and power up his own damage and stuff like that. Yeah, so just a great kit at 1 out of 5, right? Just a really good kit, even at minimum investment. Let's look at the grid. Let's look at where everything went wrong. So, Snow Shelter, Dauntless, Train of NPR. Train of NPR is not bad. This is actually a pretty good effect to have at 1 out of 5 because this means he can kind of he can kind of fish for NPR here and get those extra special moves next and the -1 sync acceleration, which is just going to be allowing him to empower his next sync move more or his next damage move, right? I feel like if you ever were to try and fish for NPR on the trainer move, you would always want to try and use it in a way that you would use Blizzard and then the trainer move in order to then go into a sync move that has, like, again, 50% extra power on it. I just think that would probably most of the time be more effective, or the most effective, right? So, either way, that's strong. Definitely a good effect, or definitely a good thing to kind of fish for if you only have him at 1 out of 5. Everything else is just kind of decent. I mean, the Gauge Refresh is kind of nice if you're struggling with Gauge, I guess, and other than that, nothing too crazy. Snow Shelter could be decent. Those best partners, Eriott, who already has Team Snow Protection, or Hail Protection, right? Anyway, 2 out of 5 he gets Healing Hail, Hasty Hail, Blizzard, Hostile Environment 2, Endurance, Furious Brain, Hit Frozen Opponent, Special Moves Next 1, and Catalyst. Catalyst helps out the Gauge. It doesn't really tend to need the skill too much, but it is there. It's definitely, again, if you're like, and this is more for a team that is not really able to manage Gauge well, obviously, and there's not really too many cases of that, I feel. A lot of times if you're going to bring a support for Red, they are pretty Gauge efficient themselves, and even if they're not, you're usually just going to bring a character that's Gauge efficient anyway. I don't see too much reason for this ability on Red, especially when his main form of damage is a buddy move that is 2 Gauge use, right? That's not too big, and his best partner is like Eriott, who's relatively Gauge efficient because she can also apply Gauge acceleration and free moves next to herself, and stuff like that. I don't think the Catalyst is that helpful, but if you do need the Gauge, it's there, right? It's something. But more importantly, of course, he's getting Furious Brain, a 30% multiplier. This is a good tile. Worth 2 out of 5 investment just for this tile. I mean, 30% damage is going to be nice. That's going to power up his move even more. On top of the Special Moves Next buff, the Master Pass with the Ice rebuff, and now a 30% multiplier. Plus Critical Strike 2 if you run that as a lucky skill, right? We want to go ahead and just consider that. Critical Strike 2. Even though he doesn't need to run Critical Strike 2, because a lot of times he can run any other lucky skill and be just fine. Which is why he runs Vigilance a lot of times in Ultimate Battles, because crit protection against those sync moves. Anyway, yeah. Other than that, Endurance, I mean, he's able to endure, right? I mean, that could be good. There's potentially some like tight knit scenarios. You know, you use that damage guard to protect against a high powered enemy attack. You take another one or whatever, it brings you down to endurance. You could potentially clear the stage after having that endurance proc, right? There's definitely potential. Healing Hail and Hasty Hail. If you do run in with a Hail character, you can get a little bit of extra effect out of it. I mean, the Hail healing is nice. This is not a bad form of healing, especially if you do run him with a tile at 3 out of 5. This one probably, but other than that, not really that crazy. It's fine. Blizzard Hostile Environment 2, this gives you a 30% chance to freeze on Blizzard, sure, I guess. Not really that worth, it's just not really worth considering, I guess. It's mostly there if you somehow don't have the Buddy Move activated, Legendary Arena setting, and you want to kind of fish for freezes. This is kind of where that could be good and come in handy at. That is legitimately, you know, got use at that point. I would not try to use it, though, to try and fish for AoE freezes, because 30% is not good, split in half. So, yeah. And he's also got Hit Frozen, Opponent, Special Boost 1, 9, whatever. Buffing Special moves next by 1 when its attack move is successful while the enemy's frozen. This is good if the enemy stays frozen, right? Like, if this is the only tile you have, you know, if he's only at 2 out of 5 and you've got this tile, if the enemy's frozen and then you're able to attack them again, then, of course, there's good usage in this tile. But, you know, if the enemy actually wakes up or unfreezes, unthaws, whatever, before you're actually able to get off that attack move, then, you know, it's not going to be too fantastic. But if you can, you know, manage around that, then it's good. Either way. He doesn't necessarily need it because he's already got a ton of special moves next buffs anyway from this passive, and overall just a lot of damage because of the, again, Master Passive and Furious Brain here. So it's a good tile, just nothing, you know, super necessary, I'd say. Anyway, at 3 out of 5, this is where Red gets stupid. We'll just say stupid because it's true. Brain Power, Recharging Strike 9, Opponent Rebuff, Sync Move up 9, Protect, Sync Move up 2, Trainer Move Special Boost 2, Discombobulate 4, Hail moves and Sync moves up 5, First Sync Move Hail, and the Sync nodes. This is nuts. This made, I almost said bread. I'm not even kidding, I almost said bread. This made Red pretty much, not even in contention, the best striker Sync Nuke in the game because he's got 100%, 90%, 50%, range of 10 to 100% multipliers here. This is what made him super good. Brain Power is easy to activate. He needs Special Attack Max. He can do that himself, right? Easy to activate. Opponent Rebuff, Sync Move up 9. He wants to he's going to have that first layer of rebuff activated anyway, so that Sync Move is going to be getting a direct power up because of that. That's 190% multipliers for free right there. Hail moves and Sync moves up 5, a 50% multiplier for moves and Sync moves, not just Sync moves, but moves as well. An extra 50% damage to this Frozen Wings Ice Beam, which already has its amazing effects and amazing power, right? This is, obviously, Red can't set Hail other than this passive here. He can set Sync move on the, set Hail on the first time he uses his Sync move, which is fine, I guess. I can see good usage. This is good for Moltres, for sure, and any, like, weather related ultimate battle probably. Like if you want to use this to try and like counter Annabelle's Rain on like a half bar or something, I can see good usage in that for sure. But other than that, I don't think this is like too crazy of a passive, but still it's there. His main partner is Eriott though. If you're going to be running him in like an optimal team composition, you're going to run him with Eriott, who is able to apply Hail and Ice Zone for him and, you know, power him up, right? And, well, that's how he's going to get that Hail. You're going to run him with Eriott. He's going to get that Hail, get a 50% multiplier on all of his damage on top of the Ice Zone that she's able to set. And her Master Passive, right? Well, not for the Sync moves, but Master Passive for his own damage, right? That's why this guy is so nuts, is because he's able to partner up with one of the best another one of the best characters in the game and, you know, excel extremely well. And obviously she does well because of his existence too, because of the fact he's got Ice Rebuff and also his own Master Passive. So that's nuts. That's pretty nuts. And even if you're not going to be running him with Eriott, I mean, if you're going to just try and like clear stage as fast as possible, you can throw on any hail setting character, and Red's going to really perform. He really is. You can throw on like Candace on the team or something, and you're going to do fine. But honestly, for the most part, if you have any like Ice Zone character, it's mostly going to be able to replace this if you're not like able to run Eriott, right? If you have like Grusha or Egg Glaceon or something, it probably would be better to run them over just a Hail setter because that would be a direct multiplier up and you wouldn't have to worry about even having to pick this up. So it's good because obviously Ice Zone is a 50% multiplier itself. This is another multiplier that is 50% buff. If anything, Ice Zone would be more because of how multiplicative stuff works. Anyway, so yeah, those are just Red's damage multipliers, right? I mean, 100%, 190%, 240%, up to 340% here, plus potentially running critical strike too. That's up to 360% multipliers, and like not even, I don't even think Arcsuit Cynthia beats that out, but I'm pretty sure she just has other abilities that make her so stupid. Like a higher offensive stat is what really does her good. Either way, Red's nuts. Red is nuts. Oh, he's so stupid. This character's dumb. He's got Recharging Strike 9 here as well, that's a good gauge management ability. If you do need gauge, this is probably the best ability to run because you're getting free gauge every time you attack. You can also combine that with like Blizzard Gauge Refresher or whatever and make good usage of it. He's also got Protect and Trainer Move Special Boost. This is good if you need to find a quick way to buff your special moves next, and that could be good for activating, you know, more sync multipliers here with this passive, and of course just more damage in general. Like you're going to be using Protect to already protect yourself from Damage Guard. Getting some special moves next from that as well could be good to enhance your next sync move. There's good usage in it. Same thing with the Trainer move, which also gives you sync countdown. And Discombobulate 4 debuffing accuracy. Great gauntlet tile, it really is. This is also what probably helps him solo Latias. If I were to imagine, this is what helps him solo Latias because it gives him an actual thing he can debuff instead of having to just rely on death. God. Yeah, either way, accuracy. Accuracy and evasion debuffs. Nice for Latias. Accuracy debuffs in general, really, really solid for Legendary Arena stages. That's probably one of his like best utility pieces, other than the guaranteed freeze for, you know, having the rebuff activated. That's probably the best thing that enables some of these solos, is being able to just dodge enemy attacks. Even still though, other than this tile, he's still got good stuff. Freeze, damage guard protection, gauge management. I think Red's fine anyway, obviously. And of course, you know, despite the rebuff problem, right, and being able to only be activated for pretty much 2 bars at maximum, he's still able to obviously, during those 2 bars, do a ton of damage with his damage reduction ignoring abilities. So, either way, or anyway, or whatever I'm gonna say next, Red's stupid. Red is just really, really stupid, okay? And I've got enough stuff to prove that here. For one, his best team composition is going to be with Chase, or for the most part is going to be with Chase in any content where it can be afforded, because Chase applies the Kanto Circle, right? We don't want to look at Chase as a support character. We got to scroll up a little bit. We'll look at Chase as a support character. Well, he's able to apply the Kanto Circle here, which powers up ally moves up to, what, 40% maximum, up to 40% power buff, and up to 14% damage reduction for a Kanto Special Circle. He's obviously going to be buffing Red a ton, and this also buffs sync moves. So Red's sync move is going to get even stronger because of this, especially when you consider that Chase is able to buff special moves next a shitload. For one, he's got X Special Attack All, Smart Command here. He's also got the ability to set the Circle, which buffs ally special moves next, and he can also have the Kanto Circle extension and Sync Burst to be able to do that a little bit more. He can debuff Special Defense with Mind Games here in the grid. This is ignore the fact that I have all of this stuff selected. Jesus Christ. And then he's also able to buff Sync Move up next if you have him Super Awakened, but of course, you know, I figure most people probably do not, but still. Point being, Chase is a great support for him. Champion Blue is also a great support for him as well. Still, they both apply Kanto. Blue's able to apply great team healing, and, well, not team healing, but, well, yeah, team healing, but also, like, team just defensive utility. And also apply power up with his team sync power here, right? So, Blue, good support as well. And obviously, you know, Red's end up being mostly a one-man army if need be. So if you want him to just be the main character to not really need a support or whatever in order to just destroy a stage, well, he can do that too. Run him with like Skylar or something, just like a potion support. He's gonna still perform stupidly well. He doesn't need a support to like really enhance him, to make him like look really good, because he's gonna look really good naturally. But just having a great support is gonna make him look ludicrous, right? So we obviously looked at like how well he's going to perform against legendary arenas here. I mean, he's got 9 solos, and he's got a great like matchup chart in general here. Let's look at the damage challenge. I don't think you need to see how he does against Ice 3v3, but we're going to look anyway. Yeah, okay. Let's see here. Ice, amount of opponents, 3. Yeah. Who would have thought, right? 4,000,003,3,332. Pretty good. There's obviously more. People have gotten more or higher scores than this on the damage challenge. But I don't think a lot of people have like submitted their clears or anything. Like, let's just look here. Red Neo Champion. Okay, fine. Red. God damn it. Now we're gonna be searching for a while. Red Champion. Okay. I don't need to edit the cell. Please leave me alone. I just have to be specific. Either way, whatever. Here's one. 6 million. This was against a super sparring stage, but still, 6 million points, man. That's nuts. 5 out of 5 EX roll plus 10 energy, but that's, I mean, it's still, right? I mean, the next highest being 4 million, 4.7 million. Like, these are still great, right? And this is all still really, really, really good. So, yeah. Red's damage challenge performance, obviously good. He's able to lower ice rebuff and do a ton of damage because the same move is fucking stupid. Who else needs to say anything about that, right? Ultimate Battles. Now, Ultimate Battles were released back in November of 2023, and Annabelle was the first one. Red quickly proved his ability to work well alongside Neo Champion Blue and Eriott in order to just kind of decimate the stage. Red Champion, I mean, he's able to clear it with Morgan. Oh boy, that's funny. Clear with Morgan as a support. Eriott's just so good for him. Neo Champion Blue and Raihan. Raihan's probably just here to like change the weather and debuff. Even though Blue can also debuff, but still good, right? Here's the most basic of them. I mean, Blue, Eriott, and Red. Obviously, this is just so nuts. Blue survivability combined with Eriott's enhancement of Red, and the fact that Red can enhance Eriott a little bit as well. It's pretty stupid. It's pretty good, right? Or Cynthia instead of Neo Champion Blue, Champion Leaf, and Sigma Suit Chris. Like, it just shows that Red is like a really good damage dealer, just for even just the stage that he's not like super effective against, right? He's just able to be pretty much thrown on any team that can like. You've got your partners that can deactivate an enemy gimmick, and then you've got Red who can shred through the enemy once those gimmicks are deactivated. And even then, a lot of times he can just deactivate the gimmick himself as well. Another setup with Red: Grusha, Sigma Suit Silver. Sigma Suit Silver, Champion Blue, Sigma Suit May, Grusha, Thunderbolt Red and Champion Blue, Thunderbolt Red and Aura Cynthia. I mean, look at these setups. There's 9 different results here. These are, and like we can just go through any ultimate battle here. Like let's select any ultimate battle. I want to put this back so people can actually see what ultimate battles I'm selecting. Let's go. Dana's not here, but let's go with Morgan. Sure. Let's see. Is there a clear with Red on Morgan? Okay. Jesus Christ, there's a fucking lot. Blue Champion. Okay, does not seem like Red actually has a clear on Morgan yet, so if anyone wants to go do that, go for it. But I think that's also because Red does not have Impervious. So if you have any way to like apply team like stat reduction or whatever, or stat reduction immunity, then do that. Red would probably appreciate it quite a bit. Anyway. Let's see, Nimona, I guess. Nimona and Palma. Well, let's see how he's able to do against them. Doesn't seem he's actually got one. Wow. People have not been doing these. That's crazy. Either way, though, I mean, he was great. It still is, right? I mean, he's able to also do Palmer. I remember seeing Red clear Palmer as well here because of all this crazy enhancement he's got under Chase and Eriott. This, obviously, Palmer is renowned for being an ultimate battle that pretty much forces you to hit hard really quickly and clear him within like 7 turns. Well, obviously, Red can do that. I'm still quite surprised that people have not opted to do these with him yet, honestly. Even if their gimmicks are like really annoying, these characters have been renowned to clear a lot of stages that have annoying gimmicks. I wonder, has he cleared Nolan? Yeah, he cleared Nolan as well. I mean, there's goodbye Nolan because, you know, Grusha, you know, this ultimate battle is really focused upon, like, just having damage guard and some way to, like, mitigate damage of Earthquake or whatever. So, I mean, it makes sense. Obviously, they need an ultimate battle. 18 clears. He's super effective against the stage. It makes sense. This is one of the stages that wants a ton of damage. A ton of damage, because she's got, like, 800,000 HP or something. No, okay, she's only got 500,000. But she's got stupid abilities like speed debuffs needed for her damage reduction or whatever, or defense buffs, which sadly Red can't hit through because he doesn't have damage reduction, or she doesn't have damage reduction. She's got defense buffs. Those are different things, but either way, his damage. Whee! Oh brother, that's nuts. It's also got this clears against, you know, Leon here. I mean, this is the basic setup. Basic setup here, able to handle Leon. That's funny. Obviously, he's going to be able to clear Lucy. I don't think anyone needs to see that. He probably can clear Giovanni. I mean, right partners. Yeah, or Cynthia, Eriott, and Red. I mean, look at how good this team comp is. This just right here. Oh, boy. Let's see. Champion Blue, Eriott, Red, clearing Evelyn as well. Yeah, it's pretty good. Only once we got to this point did people stop like clearing with Red, but this is also when the gimmicks just got kind of stupid. A lot of the later Ultimate battles, I will say, have kind of tried to outdo a lot of, at least in Red's case, his gimmicks, or like find ways to counter them so people want to pull for the like big new thing or whatever. And I guess they kind of succeed, but even still, it's not as if Red is bad for these stages. Like, if you look at the defensive skills, Endurance, Team Remove status conditions, literally just bring a status condition setter. No status condition defense is up, bring a status setter. Robust Physique, Team Remove status condition, I mean, again, just bring a status condition user. Like, I am very certain that you could find a way to clear the stage with, like, Oleana and Red and then a third support. Like, maybe, I don't know, Champion Blue or something. I think it's definitely fine. Just I don't think anyone's done it yet. Don't know why. Either way, doesn't matter too much. Because obviously his damage is just so nuts. So yeah, I mean that's all I really gotta say about Red. I mean, like you've seen his performance in Legendary Arenas or like Ultimate Battles, Damage Challenge stages. Like if you've tried to look at this game or whatever, look up videos online, and you've tried to look for clears for certain stages, I'm sure one of them, at least on like the recommended, has been Red and Champion Blue or someone or whatever clearing that stage. It's pretty damn crazy when considering obviously he's an anniversary character, people are going to be summoning for him, and then he's just going to be able to clear all the content. That's kind of the point of them. And well, he still does it. He still really can do it. And that just makes him one of the best characters in the game. It's so true. He's one of the best strikers for sure. He's one of the best characters in general. So give him a summon if you're new, if you really want a good high-powered striker. But of course, I recommend summoning for any of the Kanto trio, and we'll go over them soon as well. So yeah, I'll see you all later. Hope you all enjoyed. That is the overview for Neo Champion Red's rerun. Oh boy, nuts. All right, yeah. I'll see you all later. Hope you all enjoyed. Peace.